You're listening to Sudbury News Talk.
I want to show you something.
Stand by.
On the morning shift.
Anything could happen.
Sudbury News Talk on the morning shift.
Hey everyone, welcome to Sudbury News Talk on the morning shift. I'm AJ Walsh. I'm glad to be here with you. I'm thankful that you're here with us. We've got a great show planned for you today, as usual. So stay tuned. It's going to be great. We're live on CKLU 96.7 FM, also streaming at cklu.ca. You just click on the Radio Player Canada app and you can stream us. You can also download that same Player Radio Canada app and you can take us with you and listen to us anytime, anywhere on your favorite device. Also, we're streaming live in video at facebook.com/Sudbury News, youtube.com/Sudbury News. Make sure to like, share, subscribe, follow the channels and the pages. We really appreciate it. We can be found on demand at sudbury.news, our local news aggregator website, where all the local news comes into one convenient location. All you do is click on the Sudbury News Talk tab and we'll be on demand after if you missed the show. Also at X, formerly Twitter. We're also where we can be found at twitter.com/Sudbury News. So the show will be found afterwards there. So there's many ways to check out the show if you missed it. If you are on live on either Facebook or YouTube, make sure to comment because this is your conversation on your station. Do my best to read your comments for those listening, either streaming or on the radio, and we'll do our best to get them up on the screen after we aren't able to read them as we move on with the show and we start talking about local news, weather, sports, things like that we usually do a deep dive too into something. Today we'll be talking about, I think, the state of our country, which is, I think, a reoccurring theme, state of our communities, state of our country, some of the policies that are put in place. We'll be talking a little bit about the safe supply, the safe consumption sites, the harm reduction, as opposed to, let's say, rehabilitation. So that, again, we'll be talking about that. The Premier of Alberta came out and talked about, recriminalization of drugs in BC because they went down the decriminalization experiment in BC, and it hasn't really worked out that great. Even if someone wants to spin it or, whatever, political views and biases get in the way, and because your political party instituted it, you got to get behind it no matter what, and just close your eyes and ears to all the things that are actually happening. It's giving drugs to people, that leads and keeps addiction going, and leads then to people making decisions that, possibly leads to crime and the, people being afraid to go outside and go into their downtowns and things like that. It's just not working. And so let's just get back to reality and start understanding human beings, our human condition, what helps us be human and be the most positive we possibly can be, and help those who are struggling to be that as well once we're there ourselves. That's, I think, as simply as I could put it. But we'll show today how the House of Commons talks about these kinds of things and how ridiculous and how immature they sound, and the pay they get to be able to do this, and the prestige and all that with our tax dollars to make these kinds of decisions and act like little children in the House of Commons has to come to an end. This is not going to be good for Canada or any country where the politicians act like this. And, we don't know why they do this. It just has to stop. It's done. Over. I declare it this morning that immature politicians need to go. And unfortunately, we kind of need politicians in this world, but we don't need them to have as much power and have all our money and just destroy our country the way that they've been doing. Period. End of story. So it's going to be as much as I sound like I'm complaining or it's going to be a negative show. It will not be. We're going to be as positive as we can as we look at some of these issues that are affecting our lives. Not so good, but we can be positive and positively take out the negativity and move on in a very positive path in our lives. We had Kyan Lautenschlager on the show yesterday. He is world peace, and we had a really great conversation, really great chat after the show as well. And so we're really grateful to have him on the show, and he definitely brought a positive vibe into the studio. Would like to continue that, and I think he has a positive message that he's sharing. He's doing really great work amongst our First Nations and other people that are feeling disenfranchised in our society. He brings up their spirits and it really helps them. And I was really surprised to see a lot of hate towards him and towards what he is doing. I'm not sure. I'll have to look into some of the things. Even some people made some pretty interesting allegations, I guess you can say, if you used certain words to define what he is doing. So I will have to look into those things, which is really unfortunate. But again, right? I think he's doing a great job. And so that's, I know him personally. So I guess the people that were putting out the hate do not know him personally. And that might be the difference, right? But anyways, we're going to keep the show positive. We're going to start off with a little weather, which is a little more positive than it was yesterday. And we'll be back right after this. Stay tuned. It's going to be a great show. And your Sudbury weather, as usual, is brought to you by sudburyweather.ca. Currently, it is 6 degrees out there, light drizzle and fog. Today, periods of rain or drizzle ending near noon, then cloudy with a 40% chance of showers. Fog patches dissipating this morning, high of 12. UV index, you want to know what it is, it's 2 or low. Tonight, mainly cloudy, 40% chance of showers this evening. Fog patches developing near midnight, low of +3. And for tomorrow, cloudy, showers beginning near noon. Fog patches dissipating in the morning, high of 13. And I'll look at your long range again, 13 in showers tomorrow. Thursday, cloudy, 16 degrees. Friday, 40% chance of showers, 19 degrees. So it's pretty much around the 20 degree mark, warm. And same thing on Saturday, but with a mix of sun and cloud. Still in the forecast. We'll see if we can maybe get some nicer weather along the way here at some point. Chance of showers again on Sunday, 40% chance of showers, high of 17. And then Monday, mix of sun and cloud with a high of 18. Look at your satellite. Lots of clouds, lots of activity. Clouds, 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 everywhere clouds, just different types of clouds, some with rain, some that are just cloudy, some that are man-made, just all kinds of clouds everywhere over us, stretching from the whole view on this. So you got Manitoba and most of Quebec and all the way up past James Bay, all the way to Toronto, all clouds everywhere. That's your Sudbury weather, brought to you by sudburyweather.ca. We'll be back with news headlines, your comments, and a great show, staying positive, even though there's certain things out there that we need to keep our fingers on the pulse and not turn a blind eye to as we positively take out the negativity in our communities and in our country. We'll be back right after this. Okay, and we're waiting to see how the playoffs are going to roll out for the Sudbury Five. They have made the playoffs, the last 2 games they won of the season against the Kitchener-Waterloo Titans, and that qualified them to get into the playoffs. I'm waiting to hear word from Sudbury Wolves Sports and Entertainment Group and the Sudbury Five to tell us how the playoffs will unravel with our Sudbury Five. So stay tuned for that. We have quite a few people joining us this morning, so we'd like to give a few shout outs to those joining us. And we have many people who are with us pretty much each and every show, so it's really great to check in. Thanks for being with us. We really appreciate you. And with that, good morning to Judy. Appreciate you being on. And Marianne and Barry. Good morning, everyone from Barry, liked and shared as usual. Monique, good morning, Sudbury, smiley emoji. And Liette, good morning, everyone from Collingwood. Monique, good day, people. And Belinda, good morning. We'll start off with your positive statement of the day. Give yourself credit for how far you've come. Remember, some of the best times of your life haven't even happened yet. Well, there you go. And that is so true. And I've also thought, I think we should not only have your statement, Belinda, which we really appreciate every day, but if I can get some kind of a positive message or something to be part of the show, like during the day, if I see a little video out there of somebody with a positive message or a meme or something, a quote, I'll share it on the show as well. We'll have a little positivity moment at the beginning of the show just to set the tone, and along with your statements, we really appreciate that as well. So you gave me that idea. Much appreciated. Jerome, good morning from Chelmsford, Ontario, Canada. Appreciate it, you being on. And Denise, blessings from Espanola. Mona, good morning to you. And Marianne says, hoping you're having better weather than here. Was great meeting you yesterday. Okay. Meeting me yesterday? Okay. Unless you were talking to somebody else. Not sure. But Belinda says, great evil first comes in small doses. That's how this all started. Recognize it for what it is we are living at now. Okay, great evil first comes in small doses. That's how it is all started. Recognize it for what it is. We are living at now. Living it now, maybe? I don't know. Recognize it now. QR codes. This is Denise saying being held hostage for this QR code. It's happening May 3 to 5th in Goderich, Ontario. Okay, so there's QR codes a part of this in Goderich, and I heard it's also happening in Mattawa and North Bay. The Canadian military and police are doing wellness checks for most of the day. I thought it was May 4th, but I guess they're setting up on the 3rd. And then they're also having some public meet and greets and question and answers and things, meeting in Mattawa and then going door to door in Mattawa and North Bay on the 4th, doing what they call wellness checks. I'm not sure exactly what that entails, but you feel that QR codes have something to do with it. We know a community in Quebec just adopted the QR code to monitor, I guess, or to recognize its citizens coming in and out of the town. They will know who is in the town and when and what they're up to, kind of thing, with these QR codes. Interesting, right? Like, are you a fan of that? Do you want that to come to our community? We hope certain people don't learn about that because they'll be all about it. The speed cameras, the traffic light cameras, the QR codes, keeping us all safe, making sure we're all keeping every single law that we need to keep and doing all the things we're being told at all times or being fined. There's many Karens out there, I guess is the term people say today, instead of live and let live. There's laws out there. If people get caught, there's processes in place. But no, we need to make sure that people are law-abiding citizens, even if we give all of our power over to an entity some may have called Big Brother at some point in time or still do. And what will happen then? Like if you're an absolute surveillance state, they call it. So I just learned in university very recently, we talked about the surveillance state. And your phone makes it very easy to survey Your phone listens to you, has a camera, can watch things. It tracks because it has GPS capabilities. So if there's a QR code on your phone, basically it could know how fast you're driving, where you are at the time, if you are breaking the speed limit. If you're in a place you shouldn't be, after the curfews are easy to instate at that point too, because they know where everyone is at the moment. So I don't know if these wellness checks have anything to do with these types of things, but I would hope not. Well, I know that there's movements to bring it in. We obviously see it already in Quebec. And the digital currency coming out to go along with it. Your phone will have all your money in it. You just tap it. It'll tell you whether or not you can buy certain things or not, because it will all be enabled and tracked what you're buying. And if it's too bad for the environment, you bought some beef, cows contribute to the carbon footprint. And so you can only eat so much beef, and then beef itself will be eliminated at some point because it's too dangerous for the planet, too dangerous for you. And so coming to a theater near us, if we don't do anything about it now, it's just a big clown show, Monique says. And Maurice says, good morning, with a smiley emoji. Good morning, Maurice, and David as well. Good morning. Take care. Stay safe. Same to you, David. Monique also says, did you know you can create your own community and govern yourself? All you need is 150 people. Now, isn't that something? Look at that. Well, we almost have that many people on here at any given day on the show. So, maybe we can think of something like that, because I really do, through my lifetime and being interested in governance and interested in communications and interested in people, and people being able to live and reach their potentials and live positively and have an environment in which they can do that, like create an environment in a community where you can thrive. That's what I'm all about. I'm not all about spying on you and making sure you're doing everything you need to do and punishing you all the time. That seems to be where we're at in our society in general, right? We're going towards that on a mass scale, that kind of philosophy. My philosophy is give people the principles and educate them on what makes people the best they can be and thrive, and allow them then to govern themselves. Teach people correct principles and then let them govern themselves. And I didn't make that up myself. That came from a very wise person quite some time ago. Teach people correct principles and let them govern themselves. Wow, so simple, so easily instituted as well. But you need to know those correct principles before you can then allow people to govern themselves. If you are looking at it, allow people to govern themselves. My goodness, that's a God-given right that we all should have to begin with, is to govern ourselves, right? So I appreciate that, Monique. I will now look into that more. It's a great idea. Denise, good morning. You all have a wonderful day. Stay safe and healthy. Good morning to you, Denise, as well. Marianne, makes me want to get rid of the cell phone. For sure, I hear you, and I think a lot of people are on board with that and on the same page. Liette, Parliament theatrics, back and forth, politically pandering between elected adults and getting nothing done. It's got to stop. Exactamundo. Monique also says, when will people stand up against the QR code? This is basically imprisonment of your whole life. Unbelievable. Like a digital imprisonment, right? It's like digital boundaries, digital enforcement, digital, authority over you, making sure you do what you're supposed to do, according to them. Jerome says political arrogance is what it's called. Liette, Monique, okay, sounds promising in this current environment, for sure. I thought the same thing. Okay, and there's some comments between people on the show. So also Marianne says, have noticed that bodies are being found lately. Yep, that's coming up. Scary, Monique says. And Sheila, good morning from Quebec. We were just talking about your beautiful province and one community there adopting the QR code as a way to, as a way to use a QR code in all the ways you can use it. Marianne, they found, yes, one behind our Dollarama. Oh, my goodness. Okay. We have one that was a skeletal remains that was found in Chelmsford. We'll get to that in just a moment. It was found on Sunday. Linda, good morning. Everyone from River Valley, thanks for being on. Good morning to you. Jerome, hey, why don't we ask Mike and Nat when Sudbury City Council and their dear leader, Mayor Lefebvre, tells us AI when QR codes and wellness checks will be deployed on us. So we can ask Natalie and Mike about what our city council feels about that and if it would be a good thing for Sudbury. For sure, I'm on board with that. See what they feel. Marianne heard they found human skull in Chelmsford. That is correct. Always great when we get to meet people that are close by. For sure, yes. Oh my goodness. Yes, what the heck? And the military behind the government, they rule. Yeah, we are being ruled. Yeah, we feel it more and more every day, right? The people are ruling over you. And it's only going to get more ruling the more you allow it, the more you give your sovereignty away to others. Jerome, WTF is wellness checks. Exactly. So what the heck is wellness checks? Sheila says, what happens when they do wellness checks if you don't answer the door? That is true. We'll have to see. I guess we'll see how it goes in North Bay, at least as close to us, Godrich and that area in southwestern Ontario as well. Denise says the wellness checks have never happened before in the history of Canada. So this is unprecedented, brand new stuff that we might be able to see. We're in deep caca. That's Monique. And Liette says, yeah, for sure. Same, feeling the same. Bob Zinob. Papers, can I see your papers? Wow, Nazi Canada, QR tracking for sure. I hear you. That's exactly what's going on. Ready for the social credit score. Denise also saying, so many people here. We're on the radio. We're on CKLU. So the opinions expressed on this show are that of the host or any guests or those commenting that the host reads or puts up on the screen, and do not necessarily reflect those of Laurentian University staff or faculty or that of anybody involved with CKLU staff or volunteers. So I just wanted to say that. And Belinda says a brave soul is a person who dares to look at the devil and tells him to his face he is the devil. We need to call out every one of these dark souls that are taking complete control over humanity. Yeah, and that's what I was going to say too. We're on the radio and people listening might go, what the heck am I hearing? This doesn't sound like CBC radio. Yeah, exactly. And it's not, because there's a lot of things going on in our world that aren't being covered whatsoever at all. And it's, if anything, they're censoring or trying to prevent people from even hearing some of the things that we're just blurting out in all the comments that are going on in our world. And it takes people to research things on their own in order to find a lot of these things out. So I would hope, if it is true that you're either seeing this and hearing these things for the first time, whether it's on video or it's on the radio or streaming, and you're hearing some of these things and you're going, what the heck are these things? Just take note. Take note of some of them and do your own research on it. These things will affect you, are affecting you now, and will continue to affect you in a big way in your life. So it's good to know about them before they really affect you, and maybe even learn about them and join people who are fighting against these things that aren't in the best interest of people kind, to take a page from Justin Trudeau. Denise, Canada very quickly is becoming just like China and there are consequences also. That is true. And Shirley, good morning and happy Tuesday. A lot of really positive emojis there. Much appreciated. Marianne says they are not known for doing this, not knowing for doing this, part of the government involving them against any civil unrest, right? Now they will have a decision to make. Will they go against their code of conduct and go against the people? That is yet to be seen. I believe we're talking about our military there. And good morning, Linda. Thanks for being on. I saw you for the first time yesterday when we had Cayenne on. So I appreciate that. And yeah, welcome to the party. See, it's not that hard. We have a great conversation each and every morning. As you've been watching the show, I'm glad that you're on this morning. So thank you very much. And commenting. So everybody's comments are worthwhile because we all kind of bring a piece of the puzzle to get a better picture of what's going on in our world. Everyone's got a little piece, and when we contribute our piece, things become a lot clearer. Must look into our biodigital convergence. Yes, that is the, what do they call it? Transhumanism, if you will. If that's the first time you're hearing that term, it's where you blend machine and man together. You blend technology and blend it with, so Elon Musk's chip that he wants to put in your brain there, that's a form of transhumanism. You're taking technology and blending it with, they call it wetware. We are wetware in scientific terms. So you take hardware and you combine it with wetware. That's what human beings are termed as through scientists that are into this kind of stuff. And it becomes, you're a transhuman, right? Not transsexual, but you are a transhuman in which you have part machine or some technology that makes you better in some way. And it's done in different ways. It's been done throughout history. Even, if you have like, what do they call it? Prosthetics, you're already kind of there. You have technology, like you have a prosthetic hand or whatever, or a foot or whatever. You are already on your way. That's termed transhuman. You have hardware mixed with wetware, and it makes you function better and more efficient. So this is what's coming, and we'll have more of this coming in our world. It's an interesting future that we have planned for us by the planners. There are planners out there. Pat, good morning. Might have to build an ark for sure. If the rain keeps coming, I'm with you on that one. Lynn, good morning. Thanks for being on. Much appreciated. Hope you're having a great morning. Yeah, the weather, wow, it's done its toll on our building too. It's wreaking havoc. So, okay, we're going to have to get on with the show because, yeah, it's about that time. And there's some headlines coming from Sudbury.com, in which we've already kind of alluded to this morning. And if you want to check out all the headlines to do with anything to do with Greater Sudbury, you check out Sudbury.news, and all of the news, including CTV Northern Ontario, CBC Sudbury, Sudbury.com, and the Sudbury Star, all aggregated into one page. Kind of like Facebook used to be, right? When you just go on and you check out all the news will be coming in, and you just scroll in and you can see news from all these places shared by your friends because they know you're interested in these stories, but it's no longer kind of legal to do that, or because the policy of our government, Facebook can't do that, and Instagram anymore. Good morning, Sudbury campers. Brian, thanks for being on. So Sudbury.com here. The human skeletal remains we talked about have been found in a wooded area west of Marion Street in Chelmsford. On Sunday, a community member found the skeletized remains and phoned police 5:30 p.m. Sunday, April 28th. Greater Sudbury Police note in a media release issued April 29th that officers arrived and confirmed the discovery of human remains. Officers are on scene in a remote wooded area where the residents can expect to find increased police presence for the next few days while the scene is examined and the ground searched, and investigation is underway. The identity of deceased of the deceased, the length of time the remains have been in the wooded area, and the circumstance of the death have yet to be determined, according to the media release. Detectives of the Major Crime Section of the GSPS Criminal Investigation Division will be working in collaboration with the Coroner's Office, the Center of Forensic Science, and subject matter experts in the shared investigation on that. So more to come on who that could be. That was just found in Chelmsford, skeletal remains. In other positive news, a Sudbury man charged with historic sexual assault, and that was sarcasm, by the way. A man has been charged with sexual assault for an alleged incident that occurred in 1999. In an April 29th news release, Greater Sudbury Police said the 57-year-old man was arrested and charged April 8th. The case has some history. The complainant originally approached police in 2004, but at the time, the person didn't want to pursue criminal charges. Then, in January 2023, the complainant told the police service that they were ready to proceed with charges, and an investigation was launched by the Major Sex Crime Unit. And there is no statute of limitation on when it comes to reporting sexual assault, right? There's a statute of limitations on things like if you don't report a crime or whatever, and you wait too long, they won't even look at it anymore. But with sexual assault, there is no statute of limitations, so that's why it's so many years after the incident. The investigation led to charges of sexual assault against the man. He was released on bail and will be in court May the 1st to answer to the charges. There was a car also yesterday that rolled over on Notre Dame, blocking traffic or whatever. They stopped the traffic, southbound traffic, for quite some time on Notre Dame yesterday. They're looking into that. The person was brought to hospital. Nobody died, thankfully enough, but they don't know why this car overturned and went in the ditch on Notre Dame. Then we're getting word on our hospital, our painted old St. Joe's Hospital there with all the colorful paintedness in all of its extravagance. They're going to be talking about some plans, what we're going to be doing with that thing. Everybody's been waiting and wanting something to be done with it, but CTV is covering maybe what's going on with that old hospital. Let's check in with them.
Plans to redevelop the former St. Joseph's Hospital site on Paris Street in Sudbury are moving ahead. Panoramic Properties, which owns the site, hopes to develop 3 buildings, which will house over 500 units, including apartments, condominium units, and retirement guest suites. The proposal was before the Planning Committee for the first of 2 public hearings today. 7 letters from area residents voiced concerns about increased traffic and noise, as well as that the development would block the view of Ramsey Lake. While no exact timeline or costs were outlined, the engineering firm representing the developer said the hope is to have the project complete in 5 years or less.
What I can say is I've been told definitively by the owner that at the time that they are able to obtain a building permit and put shovels in the ground on this project, he would be doing that, for lack of a better way to put it, the next day that he can.
It just does not fit with the neighborhood. At least the old hospital had some neighborliness, if that's a word, and it was part of the neighborhood. I've talked with people here that are from Boland area, and they agree that it's a monster wall.
Well, it would indeed be a monster wall. There's no doubt about it, with all those apartment buildings and units and whatever, but something has to be done. Again, so we'll, I guess, stay tuned on that and see where this all leads. They have some pretty grandiose plans with several buildings to go in the place of where the hospital is there. Now, it's also a couple stories coming to you from Sudbury.news here from CTV. They talked about the car flipping over on Notre Dame. Also, coming from Sudbury Star, let's see here. Did you know the city will be $600 million in debt after the downtown convention center new arena is built? Will be $600 million in debt. So over $500 million of our city alone will be in debt. We're already in debt, right? And so there's a story, and I encourage everybody to check it out. It's Sudbury Star. I might have said Sudbury.com. It's from the Sudbury Star. The headline here, I'll just show it on the screen for everybody. Those listening on the radio, read it. New arena to push Greater Sudbury's debt to over $600 million. 4 years ago, the city's debt stood at just $40 million. So that gives you some indication of, where we've, where we're going, where we've come from, and what we look forward to in terms of what's going to happen financially. Who's paying the bill for all this, and why? Why was it $40 million 4 years ago? And now it's going to be $600 million. Like, that's a pretty big increase, I would think, of debt for one particular city in 4 years. And we're not the only ones. We're not the only community that's doing, like, our country is the same. I would think if you looked at the numbers of the country 8 years ago, what our debt was and what it is now, it would probably be that big of a difference, if not more. And so you have just spending, but with really no fiscal accountability. So that's just one thing. And then it's being built in the downtown, and it's really controversial about downtown itself, with the people experiencing homelessness, the opioid crisis that we are experiencing, and how to deal with that. So our community's not in such a great place, right? And I know we've had certain things that we were doing to help that, and that was to give people free, taxpayer-funded, clean drugs, so that way they can consume with as little harm as possible, and that's one solution. And that kind of experiment has been going on even longer in BC, and you can kind of see the results of that now. And I know there's still a big push here in Sudbury, and a lot of people keep beating the same drum with the same talking points, as we need to keep people safe. But I believe we've kind of already learned, and I hope that we do, from what's been going on with the decriminalization of drugs in British Columbia, Canada. And maybe if that's going on in your country, if there's people joining us from abroad, we've kind of taken the lead on this. And so there's a lot to learn from what we've done here, and whether it actually helps our citizens or not. We now have some real hard evidence on that. So with that, Alberta News and Views has taken the time to cover that particular thing on BC, where it's going, but it's always from an Alberta perspective. And so he has the Premier of Alberta speaking about this and their approach, which I happen to agree with. I've agreed with it before. They've even talked about it. This is what's near and dear to my heart. It's to help people recover, not to enable them in their addictions, right? Regardless of the reasons why. So here you go. We'll be back right after this.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Alberta News and Views. Today, Danielle Smith laid out a plan for advancing passenger rail in Alberta. We're going to watch a short clip with that and a short clip with Pierre Poilievre in question period. Today, absolute chaos. Chaos is the word that describes Canada. And for those of you that don't know, British Columbia is backtracking on their decriminalization of drugs policy. They don't know what to do now. They really don't. It's collapsing. Danielle Smith is going to talk about that right now. Check this out.
Backing off on the decriminalization.
Well, I think it's unfortunate that it had to come to the point that it did for them to realize that it had gone too far. Frontline nurses were experiencing terrible working conditions. I think that was probably the catalyst. They realized that having open drug use in parks and playgrounds was not appropriate, and they found that their hands were tied in being able to roll it back themselves. And so I would say that we've taken a different approach in Alberta. We have a recovery-oriented system of care. We believe recovery is possible, and it should be what we're aiming for, while we continue to provide some of these safe consumption sites, as well as providing virtual opioid dependency. We're going to be, through our Canadian Center for Recovery Excellence, we're hoping to be able to get some good evidence about why our approach is the one that others should follow. So we're watching what's happening in BC. We hope that it helps to stem the tide of these drugs going into the market, but I don't know that anything they've announced so far is going to stop that problem. So it remains an active concern for us.
Gee, who didn't see that coming? Like, are you kidding me? Albertans, it's not just Albertans. Canadians, we all want this nonsense to stop. We want the drugs gone. We don't care. We don't care what it takes. Get the drugs out of here. Get the crime out of here. We don't care what it takes. The drug dealers, get them out of here. We don't care what it takes. Make it happen. We are paying taxes. We are paying taxes for this nonsense. Make it stop. What follows is a hard government. Why is it so hard to get a real conservative government? Seriously. While all of this is on fire, people get...
So, again, when he says a real conservative government, it's just, again, people that are in these political biospheres, you hear conservative, it's just the stance of the Conservative Party, or just the philosophy of that, is pretty much what Danielle Smith laid out, is we believe in people and that they can recover. Whereas the other philosophy just doesn't go that far. It just keeps it at giving people safe drugs so they don't die. Okay, well, that's great. That's one step. We're not going to keep it there, though. I think we want these people to recover, right? No, that's not being judgmental. No, that's not. No, you're not being sensitive of what they're going through. You're not putting them in a lower category than you. No, you're actually bringing them to where you are. You're saying, I believe in you. I believe you can recover. I believe you can have a fulfilling life and thrive in life. And we believe in you, and we want to help you do that. We want to help you in your addiction to come out of it, though. We want to give you a hug while you're there, say it's going to be okay. And then, okay, now let's do some steps to get you on track to being self-reliant and thrive as an individual. So, and be happy. I don't think people, I can speak through my own experience, I don't believe people that are struggling with addictions are as happy as they could be. I really don't. So we can help them be happier. Okay, so he continues to go on about the state of downtowns in the world, and he uses San Francisco as an example, but we can look at our own downtown, any downtown that's going on from these liberal, and again, just you vote liberal, that's fine, but liberal philosophy policies are now affecting us, and we're living in that world, the world that, all the promises that are made, but now we see the results of it. So you can now say what makes most sense for us that serves us better in our society, right? What kind of principles serve us better? So we'll just catch him halfway through here. I'm not sure where he's continuing.
We're getting so tired of these politicians making these ridiculous announcements. EVs, EV vehicles, we don't give a shit about that, about Honda. In these investments, they're fake investments. They're just subsidized till forever. It's unreal. No strings attached contracts. This is San Francisco. For those of you that don't know, every store is closed now in downtown San Francisco. And this will happen to Edmonton and Calgary and every other major city in Canada unless we get a government that cares and is serious about crime. This San Francisco was once beautiful, especially downtown. And these far left liberal policies have completely decimated their downtown core. It is the saddest thing. And it will happen in Edmonton and Calgary. It's the same formula. It's unbelievable. It truly is. All closed. Here is Pierre Poilievre. I've been watching Question Period for over 2 years now. And this is the worst it has ever been. In committee and in Parliament. Just the chaos is everywhere. And just like I was saying with Alberta, these people need to get serious about this country. Because right now, it is just business as usual with them. It's just regular politics, just another day. But for us, it's not. It's hard out there. It's scary out there. We used to be able to confidently know what's going to happen tomorrow and the day after and the day after. Now, it's just every single day scandal, every single day lies to cover up those scandals. It truly is sad to see what has happened to this country. And everybody's screaming right now, oh, this is on purpose. This is a planned demolition. Yeah, you're absolutely right. Yeah, you're absolutely right. Bring in all of the chaos and prevent us from stopping it. That is what we're dealing with right now. But the thing is it's not too late to get some justice and get things back on track. The biggest problem is there's so many people in this country that just don't care. They don't care. They don't care. And that's only like one little thing, just another thing that is the problem right now, globally, is they just don't care. And check this out, and you will see why.
The Honourable Leader of the Opposition.
She's wasting time while people are dying. In the year after this radical Prime Minister granted the decriminalization of crack, heroin, and other hard drugs in parks and hospitals, 2,500 people died. The overdose death in the 9 years of this Prime Minister have tripled to the fastest rising of the 11 countries studied by the Commonwealth Fund. Nurses are afraid to go to work because they have to put up with addicts using meth, crack, and weapons in their hospital room. Even nurses are having to give up on breastfeeding because they're worried their kids will be contaminated with the drugs they breathed in. What the hell are they thinking over there? Yeah.
The honourable member, as a long-time member of this House, I'll just ask him to withdraw the offensive word, because it is not parliamentary.
I withdraw because they're not thinking over there.
The Honourable Government House Leader.
Mr. Speaker, last week we saw the Leader of the Opposition once again encourage supporters of white supremacy, anarchy, and misogyny. This has been a regular occurrence. He draws the admiration of people who dismiss the slaughter of children in our schools. The Leader of the Opposition. Thank you from Hamas.
It truly is astounding that they can, that they get paid that much to stand there and lie. It's just straight up lies. And as soon as it's out there and you didn't know any better, you would believe it. And that's why they do it. They just talk, and say the opposite of what's going on around on the other side of the aisle. It's terrible.
I'm going to invite the Government House Leader to start from the top and to choose his words very carefully so that they do not cause disorder in the House.
Mr. Speaker, last week we saw the Leader of the Opposition once again visit with supporters of white supremacy, anarchy, and misogyny. This has been a regular occurrence. He draws the admiration of people who dismiss the slaughter of children in schools. The leader of the opposition now has 30 seconds to speak to this House and to Canadians once I sit down. I ask him to clearly disavow the views of these dangerous people. Will he do that?
Oh my God, this video. Free
Order. The Honourable Leader of the Opposition.
I unequivocally disavow the guy who spent the first half of his adult life as a practicing racist, dressing up in blackface. He's accepted the support of Hamas, and now he's brought on the extremist and radical position of allowing legal drug use in playgrounds, in hospitals, in coffee shops that has led to the mass death of our people. Will he not refuse the demand of Toronto to replicate the decriminalization nightmare?
I remain optimistic with Pierre Poilievre, but there is no difference. They are both wings of the same bird. If you study politics and democracy and go way back like thousands of years, they had to create a system for people to believe, because of our differences, to still take us forward. That's actually why we have a left wing and a right wing. Like I was saying, they're just wings of the same bird, the same body that has to move civilization forward. I remain optimistic with Pierre Poilievre. But the reality is, there are treaties, there's organizations, there's all of these agreements that government, the countries around the world have signed on to. And they need complete reform or to be just destroyed. It's the problems in all of our towns, our cities now. Everything has been infiltrated or hijacked because of a bazillion reasons. Because of power and control and corruption. Democracy in all of these systems only work if you have an honest population and honesty running them and working them, which is why they always end up crashing, and then you start all over again with the same body of this bird that does a government shuffle. It moves forward a little bit, and a little bit.
Good name for a song, The Government Shuffle. Anyways, can come up with a nice dance for that as well. I can just picture that. Anyways, it's all the time we got for today. I thought he did a good job in just kind of saying a lot of the sentiment that I would have said, or a lot of us would have said as well. I think he's echoing what a lot of Canadians are feeling at this moment. And yeah, we're kind of fed up. It's got to stop. It's got to stop. The gig is up. It's over. We know what has worked and can work, and that's the good thing about it. So the idea of getting 150 people together and making a community, I'm really, really up for that idea. I think that's a really great thing we could do. As somebody is calling me right now, looks like that's my cue. And so I hope everyone has a really great and wonderful Tuesday. We'll see you, God willing, same time, same place tomorrow. Stay tuned now for Earshot Daily on CKLU 96.7 FM. Have a great day, everyone. Ciao.
This is Sudbury News Talk on the morning shift.